Hello everyone. Welcome to the OpenShift session today. We have with us our speaker, Mohammad Balbaki, who is the hybrid cloud specialist with Red Hat. I'd like to invite him to start the session now. Please feel free to leave any questions that you may have in the chat box. We will take the questions at the end.
Thank you and welcome everyone to the Hybrid Cloud Infrastructure webinar today. My name is Mohammad Balbaki. I'm a cloud specialist at Red Hat based in Dubai for the MENA region. And today I'll be glad to discuss how Red Hat is enabling enterprise customers to build a hybrid cloud infrastructure platform, as well as modernizing their infrastructure and application architectures as well. So in the next 45 minutes, we will spend, our time discussing the changes and the, modernization that we see in the IT architecture, and what would be, the best approach to start your journey to the hybrid cloud, and what kind of choice and interoperability that Red Hat platform offers. I'll start by discussing, what all customers are facing today, which is basically the importance of software to basically build differentiation and innovation into each and every business model. Today, if we buy, an home appliance, or we buy a new car, or even if we buy a toy, software is embedded into all of these components, and your ability to manage and to control and to remotely maybe operate these devices is becoming a de facto standard. So software is entering into each and every product that we use today, and definitely in the future. And from this sense, people can get new ideas that can differentiate their business, that can give them and provide them value, and use software to make these ideas or turn these ideas into a product or an option or a service that they can deliver to the end users. So what we are doing with Red Hat is to enable, all types of businesses, all types of enterprises to be innovative and to bring up new ideas, new initiatives, new services, new competitive edge, strategies, and build them with software and embed them into everything they do. So they become, more digitally inclined and delivering better value and competing in such a challenging market. So what we realize is that every organization, every geography, and even in every industry today can innovate and can create more value and differentiation utilizing software and open source technologies through an open culture. And this is the heart of what Red Hat offers, because Red Hat is the world's largest provider of open source software, in an enterprise, look and feel and maturity. So let's discuss how Red Hat operates in the open source. So as you can see here in the middle, we have the world of open source built with over 1 million open source projects. This is where the innovation happens. This is where the new ideas, the new projects, the new products are coming in. It's all coming from the open source. So what Red Hat engineers do and management, they go into these open source communities, and we work among these 1 million projects with few thousands of these open source projects that basically complement our strategic approach to our customers. And we select the products and projects that really matter to our customers and to the future of IT. And we help build, and we help also, promote, and we participate in these projects. And we come up, as you can see on the edge, with open source products that are integrated out of these projects. So for example, we have the Fedora project for the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. We have the Overt for the Red Hat virtualization, RDO for OpenStack, and so forth. So we get these open source projects, and we basically we innovate, and we mature our products, by delivering all the innovation upstream into the open source. We don't fork any open source project and deliver a Red Hat specific, project. Everything goes back to the open source. That's how Red Hat operates. And from there, we deliver our enterprise products that we sell in the market, which are secure, tested, certified, and documented, and definitely supported by Red Hat engineers to provide you with the premium experience that you expect from an enterprise software company. So again, this is the value of Red Hat. Red Hat is the pioneer in bringing open source technologies to the enterprise. That's what we do, and we help you bring innovation. We help you get the latest and the greatest of what's happening in the open source, but definitely with all the assurances that you expect from an enterprise software. Now, let's talk about what's happening today in the technology and in the IT industry in general, and what are the latest disruptive trends that we see. The first is that we hear more and more that the virtual machine is becoming technically obsolete, and it's slowly fading into obscurity, which means that the virtualization as a technology has served its purpose. It's a great technology. It was an excellent technology that took us from physical servers into virtualized infrastructure, our ability to virtualize compute, storage, and network. But today, modern software, modern cloud-native approaches require a new way of packaging and deploying applications. So we are evolving from a virtual machine-centric model towards more and more a container Kubernetes deployment model. So this is how the IT world is shifting from a virtual machine-centric into a container and Kubernetes deployment model. And this is also verified by major industry analysts like Gartner, okay, who 3 years ago, they retired their Magic Quadrant for x86 server virtualization, because for them, there's no need to overinvest in yesterday's technology, right? It's becoming a commodity. There's no innovation happening in virtualization. And as you can see here from their, from their announcement, as you can see here in the red block, they say that more innovation is focused on container technologies that support developer and cloud services that use virtualization. So this is where the industry is moving, right? It's moving more and more into a new way of packaging and deploying applications. And this is what is enabling true hybrid cloud. And we're going to see this in more detail. So talking about containers and the new way of packaging applications and deploying applications, container adoption is just increasing, right? Everyone is saying so, right? If you Google, if you search, right? Everyone today say that the new way of deploying packaging applications, our hybrid cloud architecture, will be enabled through container platforms and Kubernetes, architectures. So this is how the whole new world will be based on. And container adoption is just increasing, and it's every company and every organization's strategy today is to look at what would be their container strategy going forward, how we can start our container journey, how we can look at our applications and identify those applications that need to be containerized, and what would be the best mature, tested, trusted container platform that we can deploy on, and definitely what can this container platform help us achieve, and how it can take us to the hybrid cloud. So this is what is on the mind of all the basically decision makers, IT decision makers today, because the shift in the IT architecture is real and is happening. So for those who are not maybe familiar much with the difference between virtualization and containers, I'd like to give you a quick overview around that. So on the left-hand side, we see the typical architecture of a virtual machine, where basically you buy physical hardware, and then you need to invest more in hypervisor technology, and then you start to build your virtual machines. And then, inside each and every virtual machine, you need to license an operating system, a full operating system, and then you install the application and the application dependencies on top of that. So usually that's how we packaged virtual machines, and this model served us for the past almost 20 years. Now, this model of virtual machines has served its purpose, but it's not optimal for the new cloud-native approaches, where you want to quickly develop an application, quickly develop software, quickly provide services, and then update these services, and then continuously upgrade these services and innovate on top of these services. Because they are the typical architecture of a virtual machine, it includes a lot of configuration, dependencies between the actual application and the underlying operating system within a virtual machine. So there's a lot of dependencies between these, in addition to the dependency between the actual virtual machine itself and the underlying hardware and virtualization platform. So this virtualization platform becomes, not very automated, and it brings some friction, and some dependencies and configuration complexity when we really want to develop software quickly from a development environment into testing and QA, and then to production, and then into a public cloud. There's no consistency between the application configurations across all of these platforms. And this is where the whole idea of containers came to reality. And just to give you an idea that containers are not a new technology or a new discovery, right? They are just a feature of the Linux operating system. So containers are Linux processes running next to each other in parallel with complete isolation from each other. So if we look at the right-hand side here, we look at the container architecture. Again, how we build a container platform. Definitely, we need to have hardware, typical x86 hardware. But here, virtualization becomes optional. You don't need to really invest in any hypervisor technology. And then you just install a Linux operating system, which is the container host that contains the kernel. And then on top of that, Linux operating system, it virtualizes basically itself and provides specific OS libraries to each and every container that's running on top in completely isolated processes. So what we end up with is containers that are running specific application processes that are sharing the kernel of the underlying operating system. So there is no complete operating system in the container, which makes it much lighter, much smaller to deploy, no dependencies, and then definitely it makes it portable. And that's a main feature of the containers. It makes it portable from the development environment, whether you're developing on your laptop or in the data center, into your testing, your QA, your production environment, or on any hybrid cloud, because all it needs to operate is an underlying Linux operating system. So theoretically, this is how containers help you achieve, hybrid cloud. So this is why the world is moving into containers. We're talking about standardized way of packaging applications, lighter, portable, easier, less configuration, less friction between it and the underlying operating system. Now, to give you an idea about, again, the same subject that I discussed about the portability with a virtual machine, as you can see, virtual machines are not suitable for portability across hypervisors, and they do not provide portable packaging for applications by default, right? They only serve the purpose of virtualizing compute storage network for on-premise, deployment. But as we are moving into a world of hybrid cloud, as we are moving into a world of quick, modern application architectures, cloud native architectures, then, the containers come to play the main role here. So containers are lighter, standardized way of packaging applications. They need to run across multiple platforms, whether from the laptop or virtual server or physical server or any public cloud. They just need the underlying operating system underneath it. And this is where Red Hat, being, again, the world's leader in open source and also specifically in the Linux operating system, and this is our heritage, we provide the world-leading operating system platform on which we are able to deploy containers and scale containers and deploy containers across multiple environments. So hybrid cloud becomes a reality, and this is the essence of the Red Hat hybrid cloud infrastructure platform that we are delivering. So let's discuss with other disruptive technology trends. Software development, as I mentioned earlier, software being embedded today in almost everything we do, everything we buy, everything we use, and it's the new way of purchasing things, communicating, interacting with each other. Software development and the deployment and the architecture is evolving to meet these innovations. So what do we mean by that? If we look at the old development process of applications, we're moving from the waterfall methodology into more agile and lately into the DevOps architecture. What do we mean? We mean by here that instead of developing software in the old traditional manual way where we have the whole application with all its constituents and dependencies all integrated in one IT software stack, that we need to develop as a full complex big IT code, then and it takes us months to really do any kind of change or any kind of upgrade from the time that we really apply these changes and test these changes and integrate these changes. There are no quick feedback loops to modify, so we need to wait for the full software stack to be updated and goes into production to really detect if there are faults, if there are defects, and then we need to go back into the same cycle again and again. This is the old way of developing software, which took months, and it was very slow. Now we live in a world where we need quick software updates, we need quick feedback loops, we need quick features that can come, and definitely you experience that when you need to update your mobile services, for example, right? Every software provider brings their own innovations and add-ons to their software in a much faster way. So this new world of software requires a DevOps culture, a DevOps automation capability, which means that the development team and the IT operations team who need to run this platform are operating both, next to each other on the same platform with full automated tools that are able to collaborate better in developing software and bring it in production in minutes instead of months. So this is the new world that we are moving to. The second is looking at the application architectures. We are also seeing a big evolution in the application architectures, moving from monolithic into multi-tier and then into a microservices architecture. What we mean by that is that instead of having one application having all the services of that application, for example, consider a payment application where you have the authentication, the billing, and the payment services all integrated in a single code base. And it's hard to really modify any of these services without affecting the others. So you will have downtime, you will have complexity, you will have a lot of teams involved. We move into an architecture where you have multiple services. Each service is doing its job. You can have different teams working on each and every service, utilizing different technologies, different languages, different frameworks. Each team can innovate on this service without affecting the other services, on its own. And definitely these services in a microservices architecture will be communicating with each other through APIs. And this is where also API management come to play. So again, this is the world that we are shifting to. And if we look at what is the best platform to deploy these modern workloads on and microservices architecture and enabling a DevOps culture, then definitely container platforms come to play. So this is why we are now moving from physical to virtual and now into a container architecture and platforms, because they enable microservices architectures. They are the best platform to help with that, and they are the best platform to enable DevOps culture. And finally, with containers, as we mentioned earlier, they are suitable for hybrid cloud deployments because they are portable, they are lightweight, and they are standardized. So we are able to really move from the data center deployment into the hybrid cloud. So if I want to summarize what we've just discussed, we look at the world of yesterday, right, where we used to deploy and package our applications, in the data center on virtual machines, utilizing traditional architecture of applications and using waterfall methodology. And the new world is based on, modern public cloud, container-enabled architectures with, modern microservices architecture for cloud-native applications, and utilizing a fully automated DevOps culture that helps speed and optimize the way we develop software. So this is the world of tomorrow, as you can see here. And Red Hat portfolio and actually hybrid cloud infrastructure is designed to help our customers to look at, assess their existing IT infrastructure landscape and take them into the new world of containers, hybrid cloud, microservices architecture, and building a DevOps culture. So this is the heart of what the Red Hat Hybrid Cloud Infrastructure delivers. It's not only an infrastructure platform, but it's also a platform that helps them optimize the performance, optimize the architecture of their applications, and achieve a true DevOps, culture within each and every organization to deliver software and value to the business much faster, and definitely being able to deploy these modern applications and cloud native applications, and even the traditional applications that they have into a hybrid cloud platform that can be deployed on any public cloud, whether it's Azure, Amazon, Google, IBM, and many others. So again, we offer you the widest choice. So if I want to summarize basically how modern application architectures, or give you another idea, we look at old monolithic architectures, which have been built in our data center in the past decades. And what Red Hat can do is that we have full consultancy and basically professional services to help you look at your existing application landscape and provide you the best approach to take your old monolithic application that you see on the left-hand side and look at areas where we can decompose this application into multiple components. Some of the components might still require traditional architecture, but other components can be stripped out from the original application and can be deployed on a microservices architecture that can also be deployed on public clouds. So now you can achieve true hybrid cloud by decomposing your applications, allowing different tiers, talking to each other, scaling and on demand, but again, making benefit from the whole modernization that's happening in the application and in the deployment and in the hybrid cloud. And definitely you will end up with a modern, loosely connected microservices application that all the services are connecting through APIs with events and data-driven architecture. So this is what Red Hat helps you achieve. It's not only giving you an infrastructure technology that you need to sort out how to deploy. No, we can help you with the whole approach on looking at your application landscape and what would be the best suited applications to migrate into hybrid clouds and container platforms, and help you operate these applications in a much more optimal way as well. Any questions so far? Okay, so I'll move on. So let's look at the third disruptive technology trend that we are seeing in the market. We see that public clouds will evolve more and more into hybrid clouds. So this is a very important area. Many of our customers, when we talk to them, they tell us, yes, we want to move to a public cloud. We have a strategy to move into the public cloud. Now, definitely, we all understand that yes, public clouds are bringing a lot of value, and we definitely need to have a strategy to move into public clouds. But the real question is your end destination that public cloud, or you want to have the choice to move to any other public cloud maybe in the future, and as your business dictates, right? Maybe that public cloud provider is good today, but tomorrow there's another player in the market that provides you a better value. How you are able to shift from public cloud vendor X into public cloud vendor Y as well. So hybrid cloud should be your strategy and not only a single public cloud provider. And this is where Red Hat OpenShift and Red Hat Hybrid Cloud Infrastructure comes to play, because with Red Hat OpenShift and Red Hat Hybrid Cloud, it is able to take your applications to any public cloud provider as your business dictates, today and tomorrow. So we give you the choice across all public cloud providers and definitely on-premise. So you are in control and you decide where you want to deploy and when you want to move from a vendor X to vendor Y. And the second is that we look at also a hybrid cloud is also extending to the edge now. So also with the Red Hat OpenShift container platform, we are able to have edge deployments, simple, lightweight edge deployments. So actually your hybrid cloud experience can extend from your main data center to the public cloud provider and to the edge deployment, all managed by a single interface utilizing Red Hat Hybrid Cloud Management, which we're going to see in the coming slides. So again, looking at these trends, it's very important to understand the importance of containers and the actual technology that manages and orchestrates containers, which now is becoming a standard in the whole industry across all vendors and across all public cloud providers, which is Kubernetes. So if you go back to what we discussed earlier about, we are moving from a virtual machine managed and architected data center into more and more of a container managed and architected data center. The actual technology that will manage and architect and deploy the container platforms is Kubernetes. So Kubernetes, it's an open source, project that is continuously evolving with a new release every 3 months, is the API of the hybrid cloud, right? And the vendor that you want to work with should have good expertise in Kubernetes technology, because Kubernetes offers orchestration of containers, deployment of containers, high availability, scaling, storage services, networking services, self-service capabilities, etc., etc. So the Kubernetes is not a simple technology. It's a complex technology that's continuously evolving every 3 months. And Kubernetes itself, also by itself, is not enough only to give you the enterprise experience you look for. But since we are discussing about Kubernetes, the whole industry has converged on Kubernetes as the container orchestration engine of choice across private vendors and public providers. So based on that, this is where Red Hat comes to play with over 5 years of enterprise Kubernetes leadership. We were the first vendor to offer an enterprise Kubernetes 5 years ago, while all other vendors were just sorting out their container strategy, some of them even not realizing that containers are the next thing, and defining the next IT architecture. Red Hat was building its enterprise Kubernetes product, which is Red Hat OpenShift 5 years ago. We have over 17th releases now of OpenShift that is based on Kubernetes. And it is the most trusted, the most enterprise, the most secure platform in the industry today, running in over 2,000 customers, worldwide. But definitely, it's all based on our Linux leadership and our leadership in Kubernetes more than any other vendor, as you can see here, since 2015. Also, this helped us achieve the biggest market share in the market also in our hybrid cloud platforms, right? So our strategy by leveraging containers and Kubernetes 5 years ago and building a lot of capabilities on top of Kubernetes to make it enterprise grade, to secure it, to fix all the bugs, to integrate it with Linux, to add more and more, middleware stacks and languages and frameworks and enable developers on top. It really helped us achieve, one of the world's leading market share, today. This is showing that Red Hat has 44% of the container market landscape 1 year ago, but today I expect this to be even higher. It can reach out almost to 50%, I expect. So again, with over 2,000 customers, we have the most trusted, most enterprise-grade hybrid cloud platform in the industry today that is running in production in the region, in the Middle East, across tens of customers, and among the biggest references in the airlines, in the banking and financial sector, and in the government and telco as well. So this is the Red Hat leadership, in the container platform. Also, when we look at Kubernetes as a technology by itself to orchestrate and manage containers, I always, look at it as a technology that resembles buying a car, right? But Kubernetes only, Kubernetes itself as a technology is only the engine, the gear, and the wheels of the car, okay? While actually, if you really want to drive a car, a secure car, that you want to really put your family and you want to run your applications, in an enterprise way with the full security, you need, if we also go back to the car example, you need also seats, you need dashboards, you need airbags, you need entertainment system, you need proper tires, you need exhaust, etc., etc. So what Red Hat has done, and definitely the whole industry, is adding over 20 additional projects on top of the Kubernetes to give you this enterprise experience, in addition to the underlying Linux operating system that Kubernetes needs to run, and the containers are already Linux processes. So what Red Hat is doing is that it's taking the life cycle of the Kubernetes project and adding to it 20 additional projects, each with its own life cycle, and integrating it with the Linux operating system life cycle, and bringing you all of these in one single product that is enterprise grade, production ready, with over 200 validated integrations, with 9 years enterprise lifecycle management, with certified container ecosystem, with compliance, and with the full basically support that you expect from Red Hat. So that's what differentiates Red Hat, is that it is a trusted platform running for over 5 years with the largest market share and with the biggest and latest features that are uncomparable with others. So with OpenShift, you are able to deploy your applications in a whole new way than we are familiar with the traditional virtualization technology. It actually deploys it on your existing data center, on physical servers, on virtual servers, or it can take you to any public cloud quickly on the fly, because OpenShift is already available with all public cloud providers, as well as it can help you deploy on the edge, and it can support traditional applications as well as the new cloud native applications that you are building, or any modern AI, machine learning, and function as a service platform that you are looking to deploy or achieve. Because again, containers are the best platforms for the modern workload, because they are much more efficient, they can dynamically scale, and they are designed for these type of workloads that scale out. Now, we discussed earlier that operating a Kubernetes and container platform is not something that we are familiar with, right? It's a new architecture, it's a new technology, it has a lot of components that are coming from the open source. So how we really are able to operate that new platform? Again, Red Hat offers a full graphical user interface, automated platform that can be that can take you into the modern way of managing infrastructure architectures. And with OpenShift specifically, we have added a lot of features, including integration with with self-service capabilities, multi-tenancy, integrated monitoring, chargeback, reporting. It's a completely open source based pluggable architecture. You have integrations with different network SDNs, as well as a built-in SDN capability within it. And it has also modern architectures around connectivity between the different services and the policies that we need to force. So again, it's a fully way of managing our modern architectures, but Red Hat has brought additional capabilities to simplify day-to operations, something called automated operations. What do we mean by that? It's basically taking the way that a traditional IT operator usually operates an IT infrastructure, and we codified that in software in a way that the software updates itself and manages itself by itself. So instead of spending time and effort in traditional IT operations, we are looking at a modern cloud native architecture that is fully automated in terms of its operations. So it updates its services by itself. It shifts workloads and updates services without any downtime, and then rebalances the actual workloads and containers. It dynamically scales as itself. So again, it has the full concept of automated operators, also innovated by Red Hat, and the concept that is achieved by each and every software component that is included within the OpenShift and within the software that's running on top of OpenShift, each bringing their own operators. So now within the open source community for Kubernetes, there's the concept of operators. So any software vendor who wants to deploy their applications in containers on Kubernetes, they can deploy or develop their own operators. So when the container platform or Kubernetes wants to update itself, the actual software that's deployed on top of it also updates itself. So this is something that is innovated, also started by Red Hat, and it gives you some kind of an experience like you update your mobile phone. When you update the software, all the applications update themselves as well. So it brings you this modern cloud way of operating your infrastructure. We are also bringing, as you can see here, over-the-air updates. So again, looking at the platform, it's able to update itself over the air with no interruption of services, with fully intelligent way, and you don't need to worry about, high availability or shifting of workloads or, or business continuity. So it's all supported and maintained by the platform itself. Again, discussing automated operations in a bit more detail, it takes the full day one and day two operations in a fully automated way, from the installation, deployment, security hardening, and the operations, day-to-day operations of the platform. It's now fully automated with Red Hat OpenShift. So again, this is about simplifying your day-to-day operations, making you gain time, more time to do more important things, to optimize, how we manage our platform and focus on the real business issues that can really impact our business and deliver better value. Also within Red Hat OpenShift, we have a big focus on enabling application developers to become fully automated, to become fully enabled, to basically develop software in a much more optimal way. So we bring them, certified languages, certified frameworks, including Spring and Java. We offer them complete application integration services, application API management capabilities, application automation. We offer them, integration with Jenkins. We offer them database choices, all available as part of the self-service for developers. We also bring integration with their IDE environments. We bring them service mesh capabilities to operate function as a service. Also, we have automated builds and deploy. We have automated pipelines, and again, application logs and metrics and full configuration management. So for a developer, they will not find an easier and more complete platform than Red Hat OpenShift to quickly and easily build their applications, test them, and deploy in a fully automated way between the development and the operations team. So this is the benefits of Red Hat OpenShift. And lately, in our latest release, we are now supporting not only the Linux containers, but also the Windows containers. So we're bringing Windows container support into Red Hat OpenShift. Also, one of the first in the industry to provide you this kind of support. One platform to support all your existing workloads and help you to take you to the hybrid cloud. We didn't stop there with Red Hat OpenShift. In fact, we understand that as customers want to move and develop, their modern applications in a new cloud-native way, some workloads, that are scale up, and dense, have dense deployments, still may be optimized to run in a virtual machine, right? So what we are doing is that we're bringing OpenShift virtualization within Red Hat OpenShift. So based on Kubernetes itself, we're going to offer the capability to deploy a virtual machine inside the container and help you manage it from the same console using the same tools and have the same experience and hybrid cloud deployment and portability across any provider. So we're bringing virtualization next to containers and helping you modernize also legacy virtual machine applications over time, and maintain them as VMs if that's what your IT architecture dictates. Now, we're not talking that we're going to shift all your virtual machine workloads into OpenShift virtualization. That's not the purpose. The purpose is that as you are modernizing your applications, if you have requirements for few virtual machines, then the platform can support that natively. So this is what Red Hat is bringing. Not only this, but definitely we are also having serverless functions, already supported with Red Hat OpenShift. And serverless functions, we're talking about the ability of the platform to scale to zero, which means that you have a specific service, but it's actually not running. It's not even running a single instance. So that's why it scales to zero. And based on specific trigger, based on specific a stream of events, the actual application wakes up, deploys in milliseconds, and scales out as your policy requires. And once that event or stream of events or trigger fades or goes off, then the actual application will scale back to zero. So serverless functions are a new way of deploying applications for specific use cases, and it's already supported on Red Hat OpenShift. Discussing more in details the Red Hat OpenShift hybrid cloud deployment options, As you can see here, it is available on most of the non-public cloud providers, the big scalers, if you like. So we have Red Hat OpenShift on AWS, available both as an dedicated platform managed by Red Hat, or we can offer it as a platform managed by both Red Hat and AWS, or you can deploy it as a customer managed deployment. Okay, so it's all available as these options available on AWS, and same on Microsoft Azure. It's available both as a Red Hat OpenShift managed workload, or a combined Azure and Red Hat managed workload, or a customer managed workload. All of these options are available on the main players. Also, on Google Cloud Platform, we have the Red Hat managed or the OpenShift customer managed. We don't have yet a combined managed offering on Google. Also on IBM Cloud, it's available in the same way. And it's also definitely available on-premise. And we're offering also soon managed services for your on-premise OpenShift platform. So we have a complete offering for how you want to deploy, how you want to modernize your applications. And as you want to take them to the public cloud, we can also offer you managed and unmanaged deployment options. So this also, you cannot find this variety of options with any other provider for hybrid cloud deployments. In addition to that, we understand, as customers want to modernize their workloads, as customers want to, bring more and more applications into the container platform, the number of containers deployed will grow into tens and hundreds and maybe thousands. And then because of the simplicity and easiness of deploying these applications across multiple hybrid clouds, you need a console, a way to manage the deployments of your Kubernetes across multiple cloud providers, right? Across multiple, basically, clusters that are deployed within the data center or across multiple public clouds. So this is why we are bringing Red Hat ACM, and it's the new way of managing multiple Kubernetes deployments utilizing a single pane of glass management. So from here, you are able to build the new clusters on AWS, on Azure, on Google, on vSphere, on OpenStack, or on bare metal, right? And it can manage definitely Red Hat OpenShift and native Kubernetes services. Okay, so you are able to build, manage, and operate all of these, and definitely you can install new clusters, manage the lifecycle of existing clusters, monitor them, report back, and update them all from a single pane of glass. So we're bringing unified hybrid cloud management with the Red Hat Advanced Cluster Manager for Kubernetes. So again, this is an offering that's available from Red Hat today. And in fact, our market position is among the leaders and the most, basically, the most advanced hybrid cloud platform in the market today. As you can see here in the Forrester Wave for multi-cloud container development platforms, Red Hat achieved the highest and the strongest position in the hybrid cloud experience. Now, if you look at the details of the assessment, I just want to highlight a few codes, right? Red Hat aims to make build once, deploy anywhere a reality. So with Red Hat OpenShift, you build your application once, deploy on Red Hat OpenShift, and you can take it anywhere you want. Private, public, data center, physical, virtual, laptop, etc. Everything is supported on Red Hat OpenShift, even the edge deployments. Another code talks about first-class customer service and support. Definitely, we're talking about a new architecture, new deployment. So in the way that we support our customers, we support our partners as well in understanding and deploying this platform the most efficient way. We also get very high marks. We pioneered the operator model, the one that I discussed earlier, the ability for the platform to update itself by itself and to update all the services that are running on top of it as well. So we pioneered that operator model. And again, it's the most widely deployed multi-cloud container platform in the industry today, tested, proven, enterprise grade. And definitely the development experience, with the distributed operations and ecosystems are key differentiators. Nobody provides you this maturity, this developer experience, this certified, languages, frameworks, Windows containers, serverless, virtual machines. This is only available from Red Hat OpenShift through the hybrid cloud deployment. Now, we also understand that today many customers are looking at AI and machine learning deployment, and they are working with multiple vendors. I just want to highlight that we at Red Hat, we understand the full life cycle of AI machine learning architecture and platform. From the time that the business sets the goals, and then we talk to data scientists that gather and prepare data, and then the machine learning developers start to develop these machine learning models, and they start to deploy them, and then they develop them like a normal software, and implement these models, and then we look at the outcome of these models, and we continuously evolve and optimize these machine learning model. It resembles a typical software development lifecycle. So within the Red Hat portfolio, as you can see here, we have the full capabilities to give you the machine learning software tools, and to support them with the middleware portfolio. We provide you with data services, data stores, SQL, NoSQL, others as well that can be accessed and managed with the Red Hat middleware portfolio. We also have Red Hat OpenShift as the hybrid multi-cloud platform, supporting physical servers with GPU, compute accelerators, and others. So, and complemented with the bigger portfolio of Red Hat, including cloud-native storage, the Red Hat Linux, and the self-storage as well, depending on your requirements. So again, at Red Hat, we have understanding of the full software, full AI machine learning architecture, and we have a full reference architecture for that with vendors, with certified hardware, and with NVIDIA GPUs already available. And we're working with a lot of partners in the AI and machine learning ecosystem, including the big names that you are familiar with. So we have integrations and partnership and certifications with AI machine learning lifecycle partners, data processing, databases, and also hardware acceleration and data analytics partners as well. And all of these are certified to run on Red Hat OpenShift. Why? Because OpenShift provides the most advanced, optimized platform to run and scale your AI machine learning platforms versus a traditional virtual or a physical workload, right? It's the new way of deploying, scaling these workloads. So again, you can reach out to Red Hat directly or Red Hat partners to get more information around that. And also, we hear many of our customers, asking us, how does Red Hat OpenShift differentiate itself from other public cloud Kubernetes offerings? We call them the XKS, right? The AKS or the EKS, etc., etc. Now, definitely all of these are based on the same component, Kubernetes, definitely. But as we mentioned earlier, the whole enterprise experience requires much more things that are, much more than Kubernetes. We need additional almost 20 components that we have building on top of Kubernetes, and the integrations that are needed between these components with the underlying infrastructure and the lifecycle management. It's a very complex thing. Now, when you go into a public cloud Kubernetes, right, it only offers you the centerpiece that you see in the middle, right? But it's missing a lot of components that you, as an end user, you need to manage, you need to integrate, you need to interoperate, and you need to own also the security aspect of it and the manageability of all of these integrations, right? So it doesn't offer you the quick single platform, full deployment, full automated deployment of all of these components together. No, you need to do a lot of things on your own, and you need to do a lot of integrations, a lot of maintenance. And each of these services might be priced differently also and supported individually as well. So always take these into considerations when you are looking at comparing OpenShift to other Kubernetes platforms from public cloud providers, and also take into consideration the lock-in that it can give you, while OpenShift gives you the full enterprise, fully integrated components, single platform installation, full integrated lifecycle management, day one, day two automated operations, and also it's all priced as one platform that you can anticipate the pricing, you can manage it, and it offers you choice across multiple hybrid clouds as well. So take that into consideration as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the over 2,000 today Red Hat OpenShift customers across all industries in the region and across the region. We can provide you with more details about different references across different verticals, but also you can search online for the Red Hat OpenShift references, and there's a lot of information available and on YouTube as well. So again, we serve different customers across different industries and across different use cases, already running in production for years in the region, in EMEA, and globally. Finally, why customers choose Red Hat for OpenShift? Basically 3 main reasons. Number 1, it's the most trusted enterprise Kubernetes platform in the industry. It's tested, it's proven, and it includes a host of capabilities on top of Kubernetes itself to give you the enterprise experience. And definitely Red Hat we are coming from Linux, so we have Linux integrated, most secure, most certified platform. Second, it gives you the cloud-like experience everywhere. It's available on all major public clouds. The third is that the integrated capabilities of OpenShift with the languages, the frameworks, the middleware, the databases, the Kafka streams, the API management, the integration capabilities that we provide on top of OpenShift, running all as containerized services, is unmatched in the industry to help empower developers to innovate. So we're bringing all of this out of our open source innovation, and this is why Red Hat today is leading the market in the hybrid cloud infrastructure. With that, I'd like to end up with 2 links for you to help you know more about OpenShift if you'd like to know more information, or if you like to try OpenShift, right? In a very simple way, in a very, like a tutorial way of looking at OpenShift, what it does, how you can manage it, how it operates. Please go to www.openshift.com/try and click register and start trying OpenShift. It's a very simple way of understanding this technology in a better way and looking at how it can help you. With that, I've done, and I'll be happy to answer any question, in the remaining couple of minutes.
Thank you, Mohammed, for your presentation. And I request all the attendees, if there's any question, you can drop down on the group chat. We'll be here for another 1.5 minutes. I believe they have understood most of the part for OpenShift. So, okay, we will definitely connect more. And if there are any questions, you can always reach out to us as Redington or to the partner directly. And we will, link you with Mohammed Balbaki. And we are hoping for more discovery sessions for Qatar, wherein we can come and explore more of the infrastructure that you have in your company and try to optimize it more, even further. Thanks a lot, Mohammed, for your time, and thanks all the attendees for being there for the entire presentation. And we would like to disconnect now. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mohammed. Thanks for your time.
Thank you all. I wish you a great day and a great holiday season to everyone.